Hey everybody, welcome to Life in the Higham House. Kind of a special Life in the Higham House because today we are beginning a journey, a new journey, and we've decided we want to document this journey. And so we're going to share some stuff with you guys, and our hope in doing this is not to say woe is us or look at us, but more of we deeply believe that God has a purpose and plan for our lives, and we are excited to see what that purpose and plan looks like for us. And so we want to share this part of our story because we're excited and we're anticipating God doing something really amazing, and we want to be able to share this story. And so we want to start documenting this now and have it for us so that we can say, look what God did, and let's give him all the glory and the honor and the praise for that. So just a quick disclaimer, because I think sometimes people do these stories and we truly want to see God glorified in this. So with all that said, welcome to Life in the Higham House. Hey everybody, welcome back to Life in the Higham House. It's Jay and Amy's here.
Good morning.
And we are on our way into Washington. I guess we can say Washington. People know where we live. We don't live in Washington anymore, but we're on our way into Washington. And I'm going to let Amy share this because this is part of her story. So, what do you want to share?
So we're on our way right now to see a surgeon because February 3rd, right? Yeah, yep. I got the news that I have been diagnosed with breast cancer. And our journey started back in December. I don't even know how to,
Yeah.
So,
we started traditionally. Went for our routine mammogram.
Yeah, went for a routine mammogram. Well, I had felt something. And so I was like, I better make this phone call. Because it's been a little bit, like COVID, we moved, whatever, excuses, but that's just the bottom line. So we went and got a mammogram, and they sent me for an MRI, and they said, we don't think it's much, but we're just going to send you. And so all along I've been like, oh my gosh, this is overkill. This does not need to happen, but we'll trust the doctors and we'll keep moving forward. And after the MRI, they said, we're going to biopsy a couple places. And still I thought, okay, whatever, do it, no big deal. And I look back now and I know that was the Lord just protecting my heart and protecting, because my mind can go all kinds of places, and I'm just thankful that he did that. I'm thankful. And now looking back, apparently the kind of breast cancer I have is not one that you feel with a lump. So I don't know what I felt. Jay felt it too, but it wasn't normal. And so that's what made me make the phone call. And I praise the Lord for that as well, because I know that was him putting everything in motion. I think I'd probably still be waiting because I just tend to put those things off. So went to a biopsy a week ago, got the phone call, and was just completely in shock. Because I just never thought I'd be part of this group. We have no breast cancer in our family. Well, my mom's one cousin years ago had it, but that's all I know as far as my family. And so really just did not think that this would happen. Of course, I'm sure most people think that. But now that we're on the other side of it, it's wow, all these emotions and feelings that come through. And so that first weekend, it's kind of interesting. We were supposed to take a group of 40 kids to a winter retreat. We found out the news on Thursday. On Friday, we got this ginormous biggest ice storm we've ever lived through, and snowstorm. Took out power, and all this stuff. We had to cancel the retreat, which we were totally bummed about. But now we're so thankful that we were able to have just that time with our family, kind of closed in our house, and just enjoy each other and just be still and allow the emotions to come and process them. And yeah, so I look at that as a gift. While it's a total bummer that we had to push back the retreat, yeah, we needed that as a family to be together, and for Jay and I to just kind of like deal with emotions of what this means and what this looks like. And from what we know so far, it's a mild case. We'll find out at the surgeon. Yeah, we just don't know. And then it was caught early. We do know that, so we're praising God for that. But my thing is to just share that, like, the shock that I felt. I mean, I was shaking. I called Jay immediately. Felt bad because one of my daycare, I babysit a couple kids, and he walked in literally as I hung up the phone, and I must have looked like I saw a ghost because I just was in shock. I couldn't believe that that's what they were calling to tell me. And then called Jay immediately, and he came right home, and we tried to process a little bit, but it was hard because I have little kids that we were watching. But yeah, I went through like a week or two of just up and down, and feeling angry. Like, God, why would, I think that's a normal reaction. I think, especially when you're a follower of Jesus, I think, at least for me, I tend to go to why right away, because I know he has a purpose and a plan in it. And then in the past, I've gone to kind of like a bitterness when hard things happen. But I feel like as I grow as a believer, I'm like, all right, let's go. Let's do this. Let's show how God is good regardless. And I think it was maybe a week ago that I woke up and I was just in a bad place. I was anxious and I was angry. And I knew that, like, I'm pretty in touch with my emotions. And so I shared that with Jay and just asked him to pray. And I went and worked out and read my Bible. And my mother-in-law texted me that morning because I was on her heart. And I just shared with her what I was feeling. Sorry. But it was so cool because later that day, Jay's like, hey, listen to this podcast. And we often listen to just different preachers. And this one was on hope and glory in suffering. And it was so good. It was so exactly what I needed to hear because it was just talking about, as Christians, we think, oh, we're saved and life's going to be great. And it is because of the hope we have in Jesus. But it doesn't mean it's not hard at times. It doesn't mean that we won't suffer and we won't go through things that we don't want to go through, or that we wouldn't choose. And so that just gave me incredible peace because I thought, yeah, I mean, I know. And the funny thing is that I had just finished reading the book of Job the day before I got the news that I was diagnosed with
such an
cancer.
exciting book to read.
Yeah, so I just feel like the Lord has been preparing all along. But yeah, that just gave me the hope. And Jay, at one point I was kind of like crying and sharing my feelings with him, and he was like, do you want to respond the way Job did, or do you want to respond the way his friends did? And I thought, you're right. I want to give God the glory. I want him to be glorified in this because I know he's good, and I know that there's a purpose and a plan, whether it's that my kids get to see who he is in this, or whether you get to see who he is in this. And even if it's just that Jay and I continue to grow closer to him and to each other, and get to see another face of him. So anyway, we're getting ready to pull up to the surgeon. I think that's pretty much all I wanted to share. This morning as we went in, I just thought, for the most part, I feel incredible peace. And I know that is from the Lord. Because I know that I would not naturally feel that way. There is a tiny bit of anxiousness and like what's going to happen. It's kind of on the surface, but deep down, I do feel peace that I know, because I know the one who's truly in control, and I know that he's good. So anyway, just wanted to share that with you.
everybody. We have met with the surgeon and gotten news. But I think it's news that we need to first process and think about, pray about, talk with our kids about, which we'll do tonight. And there's some decisions that we need to make. So I think before we make any hard and fast, here's what's happening, we're going to kind of think through those things. But
the good news is that it was caught early.
Yeah, I was going to say, well, how are you feeling and thinking now?
Well, there's many options. And so that's good and bad. Because that means like it's really our decision what we want to do.
Yeah, I was kind of like, it was nice to hear him say, it's been caught early enough that you have the most amount of options.
Yeah.
Like you can pretty much you can take control of this before it takes control of you.
Yeah.
I think that was the one thing I was like, okay, now it's what are we going to do? How are we going to take control?
Right.
So.
Yeah. So next step is to meet with some other doctors and move forward and figure out what the best thing is for us.
Right.
So we'll keep you posted.
Right. And we're hoping it's all going to happen pretty quick. I mean, today is February 14th, Valentine's Day. So what a great day to
We've had a fun
do
day
this.
together.
But it's Valentine's Day, February 14th, 2022. 2022. And yeah, so if we can have this happen, in the next
couple weeks, it'll be awesome.
Week, 2 weeks, I think we're hoping for. You know, but I think for us, for me at least, because I'm one who processes things a little slower and wants to think things through. This is gonna be a thing. But
a thing? What's it even mean?
Yeah, but I mean, no, it's like, so yeah, I don't process things like, well, some things I'm like, this is what we're gonna do, boom, done, and we do it. But then there's other things like, this has an impact that goes on for a long time. So initially, I have in my mind what I want us to do.
Right, and we both are kind of on that same page, which is probably what we'll do, but...
Right. But there's still we still want to talk it through. We want to let it rest a little bit, and we want to talk with the kids about it. And some family, some extended family. So we're just going to get as much input as possible and then make the decision.
And pray about it and see what the Lord is leading us to do.
But like we said in the opening, like this, like we're not scared. We've had our moments of being angry and frustrated, and I'm sure we're going to have more feelings of anxiousness and anger, and I'm sure we're going to have some fear and all that good stuff. But like in all of it, we said at the beginning, you know, God has us. We're good with that.
In that verse, the peace that passes all understanding really is reigning deep in my heart right now. Like, it's going to be good. It's going to stink.
I think that's what we prayed for this morning.
It's not going to be,
peace that passes.
And just knowing that it won't, like, I'll never be the same.
Yep.
But that doesn't mean it's going to be bad.
Yep.
So yeah.
But every day we're not the same.
Yeah.
Like every single day something happens.
Yeah.
You're not the person you were at the end of the day. Yeah. As you were at the beginning of the day.
This is just kind of
this
dramatic,
is just a little different.
Yeah.
It's a little different. Yeah. But yeah, we're always in that process of change.
Yeah. So if it makes us more like Christ, then let's do it. Let's move on. Yeah.
And that's why we're sharing this. Again, just like, we're good. We're good with this. It's going to suck. We'll have our highs, our lows. But like, what's God going to do with this? How's he going to use this? Yeah. How's he going to use you through all of this? And, you know, I've always been the type of person, like, you know, God gives us our stories so that our story impacts somebody else. And I just think back all the years of student ministry, how your experiences, you know, we're able to reach some students, my experience, we're able to reach some students. Like, now we've got a new experience. And I felt this way too after the miscarriages. Like, having the miscarriages kind of put us in a place where we can compassion, empathize. Like, we've been there. The stillborn, that was hard, but we were there. And it's not the same as having a child be birthed and then you lose them in a couple of days. But there's still a loss there. There's still a loss there. But that changed our story, and it gave us a place for more ministry. And I just feel like this is going to be something similar. It'll give us that place. And so we want to see what God's going to do with it. We want to see how he's going to be glorified through it. And maybe not in the first year, maybe a couple years on the road, 5 years, 10
Yeah,
years,
who knows?
we'll be able to look back
Yeah.
and say, this is what we saw God do.
Mm-hmm.
And I want to capture it and document all of this, because like we do our prayer journals, like we prayer journal to remember the things that God's doing in our lives. I want to capture this because I want to look back and say, remember that season and remember how God
Was faithful and
moved us
good.
through that. So yeah. So that's it. So I want to say stay tuned. Follow this journey with us, because this is a brand new experience.
Not something we ever thought we'd walk through.
Never thought we'd go through this thing. And, fortunately we have people that we can reach out to who have been in similar situations. And, we're just hoping to learn and glean from them. But we want to share this with you to encourage you and to bring you along in this journey with us. And if something that we are experiencing can be there to encourage you, that's what we're shooting for. Covet your prayers through all of this. And we'll make our decisions this week, and we'll share with you what those decisions are. So watch for another update, and we'll keep you guys all in the loop of what's going on. All right. Well,
See ya.
Thanks for watching Life in the Higham House.